InShalla and Ashe. Blessings to you, my energetic beings. It's been a moment. I am Tonya D, holistic Sha'medium and subtle energy surgeon. I merge the indigenous technologies, the elemental realms, the subtle energies, and the elemental beings. And if you have yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do. It really helps to echo out into the universe, called the algorithm. But the immersion of Voices of the Other World is an amazing asset to uncovering secrets of the other world. Um, so I just want to shout out for that because that's coming up on my thread lines and I'm having great visuals about that. But in other amusing news, I wish you a blessed season of peace, happiness, and joy, amongst other virtues. But today the moon is in Libra and the sun is at the Libran degree. So there's some juice there with what we feel and what we love. Get to express the juice in our inside selves. So be kind, be peaceful, be compassionate, and kind of be a Zen Buddhist monk, if you will. Find your own inner peace, be in the flow, and really utilize your intuitive senses to be your beacon of support. And just open up to receive the juice from the galactic goddess. That's kind of the energy of the rhythm of today. But we have a Yin Earth Rooster. Lots of metal on the board, metal or earth to the metal to the water. So there's 0 wood or fire and lots of yin energy. Only 1 yang energy on the stem on the month, the yang stem. It's yang above the rat there. But the inner world, definitely a meditative kind of day, your inner peace. But we have the energy of fear versus peace. So we really need to validate what makes us feel fearful and examine the fears and kind of, how much validity is there in the fear. And then, worst case scenario, confront it. And that will literally take the energy or the charge out of it. And it will also bring us to a state of peace where we can then take action that's going to recalibrate and bring in more positive change in our day to day, confronting the fear. And also just be aware that we're being motivated by the fear all the time. The media, insurance companies, advertisers, government, etc. So we're constantly, being bombarded with fear, generating propaganda all of the time. And we take it in and take it on actually more than oftentimes we even know. So just by moving into a state of peace will allow us to draw into our life only those people who will actually support our peace in that place. So personally, I just turn off the TV, the radio. I don't listen. I like the sound of silence, really. So just kind of to take a deep breath, take a pause for that inner peace. But we need to add the element of fire. Fire because that supports the earth energy. So go to your ancestors, communicate to them what you're kind of up against, invoke them, speak your inner heart wishes that are delicious. So with our throat online, merging with our heart center, just naturally open to the information, the verbal intuitive sounds, the hearing sister. Our senses are going to be like spidey, hyper-gated, hypersensitive today. So it really is a day to stay in those threads of peace, being that our heart is open. We're really going to be super sensitive to our environment. And can I just say, I truly haven't stopped cleaning out the cobwebs in all the Mother Hubbard cupboards. I think since the new moon, it really is a thing. So if you have any excess energy, maybe you put on your favorite music, clear out some things, be creative. It really is a great day to recalibrate and really get a boost. It's the light, it's the love, it's the laughter, it's the cosmic otherworldly joy. And being that we're in the season of Capricorn, that's our leadership agenda. It's leading from our heart, our own inner heart. What does your heart have to say about how you are leading yourself? Are you leading with love and kindness and peace and joy? All the juice, right, in the chalice? So how do you lead yourself, or how do you manage yourself? So when we sense no resistance, we're kind of in the flow. And being that we're at the end of a water year in the Dagara tradition, cosmology, it's really a great idea to get into the flow and be in flow with what the queen, who is the heart, we all have a heart, you want to be in that flow. If you have any resistance in the threads, any negative self-talk, then your heart, it's not online, basically. So you really want to find your heart-centered path, the path that leads with your heart today. Be in that alignment, be kind and be loving to yourself, and just kind of pay attention to how that feels, both on the inside and on the outside. You know, what's the frequency that you're attracting? You could possibly feel that you aren't in your own personal thread lines even, but in somebody else's. But the only one that truly knows is the queen inside of us. Sometimes we get those energetic hiccups, and that's kind of how they appear. So it's all about the balance, you know. Are you over or are you under indulging your queen, your princess? You know, love resides within all of us. So be kind. Be that kind of love to yourself first, and just intuitively feel what you are most heartfelt attracted to. So the creative energy is actually highlighted as well. So it kind of feels what I would say is galactic smooth sailing, really. So yeah, kind of feel into those thread lines. But now I'm going to continue on with our juicy angel, which I find really curious. Anybody who's ever had an NDE, I think this angel kind of appears for us and sends us back. But let's get rid of that. This is the Archangel of Death, Azrael. Even though he is the angel of death, oftentimes he appears kind of just as we are about to cross over from this life into the next, or possibly even to the beyond, another timeline, even another lifetime. But there's no reason to fear this archangel. He's no different from any of the other ones. He only wishes us to offer us support and guidance and comforting our soul as we take this next step on the journey. So unless we call for him or ask for guidance on a matter related to a death or an ending, we won't really see this archangel before our time to really cross over into what I call transcendence or transition into the spirit world. So when the time comes, we really won't really fear this angel. So, you know, you can really welcome his appearance and really just greet him like an old family member or a friend, somebody that you've actually met before. So you don't find yourself feeling worried or afraid of meeting this archangel. You're going to be in the peace zone, really. But just you could also consider just reaching out to another one of the archangels as well, or just an angelic being, an ancestor, really. They're all going to offer guidance and assist us and show us where everything is just going to be okay. But there are some symbols and signs that we can all use to recognize the presence of this archangel's energy. They vary kind of drastically, but he's generally perceived to be this winged man. I tried to find a better image, obviously, today, but a winged man with long, flowing gray hair. Sometimes it appears blonde or white, just depending. I would say the zones, the gray zone, the black zone, or the white zone. But he appears as a man. He looks older than a lot of the other archangels or angels. He tends to wear a white creamy robe, if you will. But, you know, how we see Azrael is only how he appears in the physical dimension and the physical material. So we might see him as an old man, but that likely relates to the role he plays in the universe. He's also commonly associated with the color white. That's because he uses that white energy for healing. So when people visualize this energy of him, he often appears white or creamy in this color. So this energy can kind of bring that feeling of comfort and reassurance, and also really a deeper sense of compassion. So for example, you know, in the moment of death, as we all kind of begin the process, we go through what's called a life review. And this is where he's going to guide us through our life from the beginning to the end. And just this allows ourselves to relive all the good moments and the good memories and the experiences, but also remember all the lessons that we've learned or the obstacles that we've actually conquered. So for those of us who have kind of made a poor decision in life, maybe we're selfish, maybe you're obsessed with the material things, a life review can also be very uncomfortable. And the experience is uncomfortable because it's highlighting our wasted potentials. So super curious. So a life review is supposed to remind a person about their life goal, their soul mission, as well as highlighting the steps that we've taken towards achieving the mission, the soul's objectives. However, there is a detail about the life review that a lot of people are kind of unaware of, and we really don't need to be dead or dying in order to actually experience this. And this is actually one of the many gifts that this archangel bestows upon us. But sadly enough, we won't experience the review in quite the same way as if we were transcending this plane. But instead, he can guide our own thoughts to guide us along a journey into the depths of our own beingness. So this is where we encounter our heart's desires, our life goals, our soul's mission, our prime directive. So if this isn't your first life, you might gain some insight into the progress that you've actually made towards your soul's mission in previous incarnations or lifetimes. And you'll also gain a better understanding of the lessons that you've learned in previous lives as well. So ultimately, a life review, while still alive in the physical, can help us provide focus, intention, and experiences. Sometimes this is referred as Ascension, but there are two primary ways that we can connect to this archangel, Azrael. One is known as an invocation, and honestly, you could use invocation for anything. The other one is a little more abstract in a way, but it involves allowing our mind and our spirit to travel to a non-physical plane of existence to visit Azrael. So, we have to have a lot of trust in ourselves, in our intuition, because it's going to be like our guiding compass for this journey. So the first thing, to go on any journey really, is to find somewhere where we're comfortable, it's private, we can sit, we can lay down, make sure that we won't be disturbed. We can put our phone on silent or put it in another room. If you have candles or crystals or anything that you use in your spiritual practice or your exercises, feel free to use any of them. But, just begin taking deep breaths and kind of feel your body, filling up every part of your energy body plus your physical body. And as you begin to relax and then your mind begins to wander around, just focus on your intention that you wish to contact Archangel Azrael, or really any archangel, honestly, it doesn't really matter. And just visualize yourself walking along a stone path and just feel yourself being happy and comfortable, and know that you're at peace, know that you are also at ease in your beingness, the essence of who you are, being in your body, and, can you hear any sounds? Can you see anything in a garden around you? And just really pay attention to the details of this world as well as of the other, and just notice, what the path is built from. Is it built from a white quartz? Is it built from stones, or whatever, water? It could be anything, quite frankly. But and each step that you take seems to just cause this energy to flow from the stones, whatever your path is, into your beingness, and you feel it traveling up and through into your body, and you just get this buzz of energy that not only surrounds us, but it also fills us up, while at the same time just enjoying the sensation of the white energy. That's kind of how Azrael comes in. But if you're calling in another archangel, the color is going to be different. But just begin to notice the bridge in the distance, like you're going to see a bridge. It's kind of like the wall between dimensions, I guess. But as you get closer to it, you're going to see this old looking kind of a stone bridge made of the same material as the path that you created for yourself. But we can't cross the bridge because it's this joviant wall of light, I would say. It's like effervescent. It's magical. So this is the wall of light. That light is Azrael, and that's like the message that he is ready to listen. You could also invoke the power of this archangel as well, especially if, I've had a lot of people transcend in this year. So it's just really beneficial if you've had people transition to call on him, or if you even have fear of losing a loved one, or maybe you have any negative views about death or fear of it. But this archangel is really here to provide support and comfort while also assisting us to further progress along our own spiritual path and our own journey, and just exploring. You could do an invocation anytime you need to reach out to any archangel, but today I'm just talking about Azrael, and you can call upon him just to ask him, a gift to gift you with comforting energy or peace, or maybe that you have a better understanding of somebody who's crossed the rainbow bridge, or, what the memo was, or the message. But you could also pray to him as well. So either way, a prayer or an invocation, you just, I would probably do a prayer over an invocation if I have a lot of conversation that wants to come up. Through prayer, our thoughts and our feelings just kind of perk up a little more longer, especially if we're in a sacred space where no one's bothering us. We're alone, right? And an invocation, sometimes those are just short little messages, that come in. But I find it curious, being that we're in the season of Capricorn and this archangel, because the winter months are so cold, and everything goes in. It's the yin energy, it's water, at least in this part of the horizon, actually. So I find that curious. But the cards of the day, I actually just pulled this one. My last time I was on was live. But the Seven of Cups, he's upside right this time. I think he was last time too. But this is like daydreaming into our future. We've got water in the background. We've got toning bowls. We've got a lot of options in front of us. Some of them are underwhelming. Some are overwhelming. It's like we don't know what path to take. And the life, life can present many paths. It's like literally a game of life, game of chutes and ladders, that brings us down, but it also brings us up. So our desire, sometimes we have this desire to choose the one correct path, the perfect path, but usually that really complicates and muddles our decisions and our thinking and our thoughts, because there's really no way to know everything that's going to spill over from the chalice, these cups, the one that we choose, the path that we go on. So this is a message to use our intuition and decide through the intuition, just remembering that the shiny things are a temptation. They're an illusion. Happens a lot, right? Usually if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Or maybe it's true to be so good. I don't know. But I find that the paths that are more challenging are often, they hold the unexpected opportunities. So just kind of ask your discerning heart in your heart space, what options honestly stand in front of you today? And even if things are not exactly as they appear or they seem, just choosing that what you truly desire is often the most useful kind of stepping stone on the path at the current moment. So really utilize your wildest imagination. Let it be the tool that we use today to just inform and bring us messages of our future in a down-to-earth kind of manifesting way, whatever that looks like for each and every one of us as an individual little spirit. Then I have the Four of Swords, which is a super yummy card. Look at her, even though she's reversed. But it's this nest, right? It looks like a nest. Doesn't really look like swords, but it's this deep resting in our lives. It marks this moment of intentional healing and self-care, really, more than just doing the integral parts of wellness, the everyday things. It's this inside integral part of our beingness at this current moment. So it's the body, the mind, the spirit, and the soul. I always like to bring in the soul. It's how we heal. That's our own personal choice, and we can find just regeneration in our peace, in our sleep, or other practices that are restorative, like meditation or journaling, energy healing, maybe a divination. Helps a lot, I'm telling you. But just consciously deciding to slow down and just process, not really regurgitating, but process things before we dive in ahead, right? So sometimes the hustle can be really tumultuous, I'm seeing like a tornado or a hurricane, really demanding. And really the only person who can really direct our own radical recovery is ourselves, right? So we need to tend to our own wounds. We might be on the verge of burnout, tired. But our nest is going to grow around us as we sleep. That's when we regenerate. That's when we rejuvenate, really, is when we sleep. So the landscape of our life is going to be shifting magically as we fall into our own rejuvenating energies. So it's in our dream state that we transmit and we transform our experiences. And then we emerge, just like through a shell, I would say, renewed and whole and just ready to rise and shine. But first, we need to give rest, give ourselves some sweet dreams, some sweetness, really. So really just give yourself permission to slow down and take a breath, take a pause to heal your sacred space. Sometimes we don't recognize the dangers of burnout, and we really need to spend time recovering and dedicating to our own energy and to our own self-care. Yeah, inside of us, we get too busy. We put ourselves off, right? And then, ironically, I have the Four of Cups, which is also magical, 2 fours back to back. So we really have some innovative energy today. The Four of Cups, that's our emotional field, our feelings. So if you're finding yourself kind of bored, maybe you're unsatisfied or you're frustrated with your current situation, know that you're likely missing the vibrant landscapes that are really present just beyond our peripheral. Mine's always through my left eye vision. Sometimes we become so focused on our own internal perspectives, we forget to look at that mountaintop view, that our feelings about a situation can kind of prevent us from noticing the arrival of just extraordinary opportunities and remarkable otherworldly things. So if you remain open to shifting just ever so slightly in order to see a situation in a fantastic new light, that's when we're going to learn that the present moment is filled actually with the most dynamic, juicy magic, whatever that is for each and every one of us. So instead of focusing on what you don't have right, focus on what you do already, like you already have it. And even better, spend energy focusing on our thoughts, on the experiences that we really want to create in the future. You can literally mind map that out. So taking time to meditate and just slowing down your mind and feeling into the frequency of what your feelings are, that's going to show us that life is better oftentimes than it seems or it appears. So ultimately, it really is up to us to shift into all the abundance, all the juice that's available to us right now in the moment, and really see the galactic fullness and the richness that really exudes in our everyday life. So it's a message of sometimes we miss opportunities for abundance. It's time to really meditate. It's time to get that yin energy, go within, find our peace, get some rest. You might feel some frustration or some burden. That's pretty normal. That's what an energetic hiccup is. Maybe we're being a brat and not really appreciating what we already have. I mean, I've witnessed that myself, probably been that way myself, but it's time to have some introspection on all the things, right? So an affirmation for the day, it's like being creative, taking a pause, take a breath of fresh air, and really let your verbal or your hearing intuition, your hearing sister, be the light today. You could call on Azrael to end a cycle and bring in the birth of a new one. Maybe there's a lesson in the cycle. Endings and new beginnings, I know I am. I've been cleaning out things. Found a great juicy picture of one of my great aunts, and I know she was a kicker. Just really fun. You can just see it in the image, really. But there's this super cascading energy into the highest timeline. That's kind of what I'm doing for myself, as well as those in my village. So if you feel the call to immerse yourself in voices of the other world, the gate is open for that. I have a one-time payment or multiple payments, just 2 options going on. Super juicy. I'm still working on the guests that are going to be a part of it as well, but I have some ideas. But with that, I would affirm that I am climbing into my skin, accessing the light that is me, and being in a state of harmony, peace, and bliss. And embrace and give yourself a self-hug. Kiss the mirror if you need to. Divinations are available, one-on-ones for those of you that are in those threads and really need some juice to see the magic on the other side. You can visit the corridor on my club. And as always, InShalla Ashe, thanks for tuning in, liking, sharing, and commenting.